Vietnam. How are you? It's Shiv. I'm on the trail. It's crazy that we have Wi-Fi in all of these places, and at home we have really sketchy high Wi-Fi. So I'm always amazed when I go to get some live done that we actually have Wi-Fi. Anyway, I thought I would bring you along with me today. Look at this gorgeous place. Isn't it awesome? It's a marshland, so in the winter it's extremely wet, and then in summer these beautiful grasses, a lot of them much taller than me. And I used to come out here and run earlier this year when I was running, before I bust my Achilles tendon, and that put the end to the running. So then I decided I would come out here and walk, and I'd come and walk miles. And then in June I went to hospital for my kidney, and hasn't quite been the same since. So it's much slower these days, and it's okay. Some days it happens and some days it doesn't. It's very interesting because I actually feel like I look pretty good. Don't you think I look pretty good? But I don't feel it. So even right now as I'm walking, my left kidney hurts, my back hurts. I want to go like this because it's like that. But as it's been, I don't know, 10 weeks, 11 weeks at this point, there's a discomfort there, and it's not going away. So if I just don't do anything, I'm going to just not do anything. So I'm doing what I can while I can, and making a lot of peace along the way. That's the interesting part. I'm grateful for every slow step that I can take, and I'm much more graceful with myself when I can't. So yesterday I got up 3 times and opened the door at the cottage, and I wanted to come out so bad, but my bag just, I didn't have it yesterday. And today I went to a meeting earlier this morning, hence got a little bit of makeup on. It's amazing what makeup can do. Samaj is riding to town, and I come to meet him, and I'm taking my walk. I'm coming to do it. And the interesting thing is that there's this misconception that being slow is somehow to our detriment, right? Being slowed down. So I think about this year. It's my 50th year. I was 50. I wasn't going to be. I was 50 in June. And my gift to myself was to be in the best frame in my body and mind that I could be. And the night before I was admitted to the emergency room, at 9 p.m. I was just telling a friend how I'd never felt better in body and mind than I did at that very moment. And 12 hours later, I was in the emergency room. Now, it's interesting at this point, how many people think, oh my God, Shiv, you jinxed yourself. Why would you do that? Did you knock on wood? Don't say these things out loud. And I just don't think that we live in that kind of universe or that kind of world. God, universe, whomever, that which is greater than us. I just don't happen to think that they're looking down thinking, oh, really, Shiv, you think that you're feeling good? Well, little bitch, let me show you this. It just doesn't feel like that. But it does feel more like an opportunity or an invitation to be able to find peace on both sides of the scale, right? On both sides of feeling good and not feeling so good. And that actually within the pain, within the slowing down, can be huge lessons that are available to us if we will look at it that way. So it is and continues to be a very humbling experience. At times it's kind of scary because, I would have thought it would be done by now, and it's not. It's definitely a lot better than it was, so I'm a lot better than I was, but I'm not as good as I could be. And who knows? Who knows how that plays out? In fact, I've got some quotes this morning in my reading. Epictetus, one of the three main Stoic philosophers, along with Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, has this beautiful quote about sickness. It's interesting what, the quotes that might come across when you're in a certain situation. So, Epictetus said, "Sickness is a hindrance to the body, but not to your ability to choose, unless that is your choice. Lameness is a hindrance to the leg, but not to your ability to choose. Say this to yourself with regard to everything that happens, then you will see such obstacles as hindrances to something else, but not to yourself." Whew, powerful stuff right there. Evidently I'm just tilting you there. He did have a bad leg. You see, he was born into slavery. I think he was AD 50 to 135. So, long time ago, spitting wisdom. And then got released and had a school, I think, in Greece for a couple of decades. And though he didn't write anything down, a fly just flew in my mouth. One of his students, Ariane, did. So, but and then also his 3 lessons are so relevant. Is know what's in your control. And that's very much like our lesson of we can't control what life throws at us, but we can learn to better control how we respond to it. So it's mindfulness as well, right? It's being okay with what is and not wanting what is not. We're at the bridge right now. Look, here's the bridge. Dun dun dun. Yeah. And then, so that was number 1. His first lesson was remember what's in your control. Number 2 is prescribe yourself a standard, which is about not telling the world what they should do, but being the example. So that's like leading by example, acting the way that you think people should act and behaving that way. And number 3 was prescribe yourself a character. And that was all about our habitual ways of being and setting some things that serve us and keeping those consistent. So for me, like coming out for my walk, just trying to do that, and remembering what's in control, and then being graceful when, like yesterday I can't come out, but today I can. So it makes me all the more grateful in many ways for being able to come out. Maybe I was taking it for granted, and that's not why it was taken away from me. But just recognizing that in those 3 weeks when I was in bed and I couldn't get out of bed, I just wanted to be able to get dressed and be able to come outside. So here I am, I'm dressed, I'm outside, and I'm going to be grateful for it. And sometimes slowing down gives us the beauty of just being able to really, really enjoy, look at all of this, everything that is around us. Because right next to us is that road where everything's zipping by and they're not even seeing any of this, right? So when we can let go a little, remember what's in our control and what's not, then we can start to really appreciate what we're doing and do it while we can, because life does change in an instant. Right? It really, really does. I mean, I went to bed one night feeling fantastic. My life hasn't been quite the same since. And I can resist that. It's going to be bloody miserable, And I'm not saying I'm super happy with it either. There are times when it gets me down. I am human, I think that's one of our 2017 things of being human is that so often we expect to be pain-free. There's going to be a pill for it, or there's going to be something that can take it away. And pain's part of the process, like the Buddha said. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. right? So we're going to have pain. Pain's part of the process, but it's what we do with it that matters. I've got a runner coming now. I'm going to freak them out because I'm standing here talking to you. I'm about to freak them out because they're just going to run by me because they don't care about me. See, look at that. Just ran by me, didn't even look at me, because that's the kind of world we can live in. We're human beings on the same trail, can't even look at each other and say hello. That makes me sad sometimes. But hey, some people are in a hurry, don't have time to say hello. So I'm grateful for being able to slow down, and I'm going to continue with my walk. But I just wanted to come in and, we can keep ourselves dangling after that, rushing after that dangling carrot, thinking that our happiness lies somewhere over there, when really our happiness lies in this moment, in being able to be in the moment. So I can still taste how it felt to be in Southern California when I was coming live to you guys, and I was doing 8-9 miles a day, and I was just like, yes, I'm killing this, it's awesome, I feel fantastic. And I was going home and recording yoga classes, and it's a little different right now, but it's okay because I'm making peace with it, and finding it to be very humbling in the process. And also that's just kind of ironic, right, of feeling, looking okay, but just not feeling, just like right now, I'm just like, poor little kidney, bless her. So anyway, enough of my whinging, and I'm going to go and continue my walk. I'm so happy to be able to share a little bit of this gorgeous beauty with you. I'm a fisherman's daughter, so I grew up by the rivers and being in nature, and that's been one of the biggest gifts to me in this part of my life, is realizing how integral nature is to my feeling okay. And I used to think that was all, if I could take trips or go buy my Gucci shoes, or that my happiness laid in material things. And there's nothing that brings me any more joy than being out in nature, and I spend most of my time. I live in nature, and this is where I get to walk. My drive to town is in nature. It's a blessing. So I'm looking for the blessings and trying to accept those rather than what's missing. So it's all a process. We are a work in process, that is for sure. Nature of being human is not always simple, but it's interesting. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you. How do you take it for granted that you can just go out on the trail and not do it? That is one of the things that one of my friends was saying, was, and she now has a life where she's actually looking after her brother, and he needs full-time care, and she doesn't feel as free as she used to be. And we talked about, and I've mentioned this before, I'd asked her if she used that freedom while she had it, and she said no. And so often that's what, we don't miss it till we don't have it. And that's one of the beauties of this, is to really, really savor what we have while we have it, and to do it because we can. So that's my words of wisdom for the day, is doing what you can while you can, because you don't know when you can't. I love you so much. I will see you soon. Sat Nam. This is Shiv Shankar.